How do you make the most of the help you're getting from your coach? Well, this is a very meta topic today because I am a coach and a consultant, and I'd like to share some observations that I see from 3 decades now in consulting, and some patterns that I continue to see with clients. So the first piece of guidance that I would give you is to prepare your interactions with your coach or consultant. Don't wait for the meeting to arrive there and wonder, okay, what are we supposed to talk about today? What are my questions? I think I think you may find yourself in a situation where you don't know what the question is. You're just struggling with something. And if that's the case, then the sooner you identify it, the better. And then you can come to the coaching call with the request for some help to clarify the situation and get help to frame the question. Framing the question, by the way, is all over half of finding a solution for a problem. Even that's the majority of really designing a good solution. Because if you're not framing the problem correctly, or not even framing the right problem, you will end up with the wrong solution or even no solution at all. So tip number one is to come to your interactions with your coaches or consultants with some degree of preparation. So for instance, I have 3 coaches myself, and I always take a moment, even 5 minutes. Sometimes it can take me up to an hour to review where I am in my work with them and formulate questions that would be most helpful to address in our upcoming conversation. Even if I send this through email, this recap, just before the coaching call, it's super helpful to drive the conversation and to prime my mind about what's going to be most important. So take the time to do a recap and formulate those questions, preferably in writing. You can write them down on your journal, piece of paper, or via email. You're going to see a lot of benefit in this simple practice. Then during the conversation, I think it's important, and if you have a good coach, a good consultant, they will help you navigate this, is to identify the scenario you are in. Maybe you're just overwhelmed by a situation and you don't know what to think, or or you have those feelings, but you don't know how to make sense of those feelings. So that's more of a clarifying need for and help here. So during the call, the better you're prepared to identify what situation you're in, the better. And that can also emerge during the call. It's okay to say, hey, today I came unprepared because really I've been thinking about it, and or I tried to prepare, but I'm not even sure I'm asking myself the right question. That's really the help of that a good coach should help you identify. It's not only bringing clarity on the solution, but clarity on the problem, as I mentioned before. Maybe you're falling into another scenario, which is, I've been trying to launch a new product, for instance, and I'm not getting anywhere. A good coach would probably ask you something along the lines of, uh, what have you tried before? What experience do you have in this procedure? And maybe your answer is, well, I've never done anything like that before. So then maybe to help you, the guidance would be around giving you some steps, or helping you design the steps and the structure to get to launching your product more effectively. The third piece of advice I want to give you is, before you wrap up your interaction with your coach, or even if it's an offline interaction, you're just exchanging, offline, it's asynchronous, you're exchanging thoughts via email, is to always make sure that you're clear with your next steps. When you work with me, the last few minutes of our calls are always dedicated to writing together what the action steps are going to be, agreeing on them, clarifying them, making sure that they are clear, they're doable, they're feasible, or identifying the areas of concerns where you're going to be stretch a little bit, and making sure that you leave with clarity about the next steps. So typically 3 things, even 1 thing will suffice. Sometimes the list is bigger. And then we've just talked about the interaction that you may have with your coach, but a lot of the time, and that's something I do with my clients, the interactions we have with our coaches is not limited to a 1 hour or 30-minute session or just a project. It can be ongoing. In fact, that is what I recommend. When clients work with me, if they pick that option, if they decide to select that option, they can have everyday access with me. I use an app called Voxer. It's a walkie-talkie app, and the communication is ongoing. And that provides so many great benefits. And if this is something you're interested in, ask your service provider, ask your coach, your consultant, or people who help you, even colleagues or peers or mentors, right? Ask if that's a possibility, that's an option to have an ongoing dialogue through. Nowadays, we have this wonderful technology that enables us to be in constant dialogue, or whenever we want. So with me, of course, I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night to answer questions, but I will see on Voxer that the client, is needs my attention or has a question, and if I have a minute, if I have a moment for them, I will gladly answer the question or give them some tips. Or sometimes it comes from me. I haven't heard from a client for a few days now, and I'm wondering what's going on. So I nudge them a little bit, and very often time, almost always, I hear, "Well, thank you so much for the nudge. This is super, super helpful." There you have them. I hope those 4 tips are really, really helpful to you, and I wish you the best with whoever you're working with. Thank you so much.